Okay, so here's the plan for today. First off, Lauren got caught up in a bunch of meetings, not because it's her fault, but because our delay got pushed back a couple of days and she just couldn't rebook some of her meetings. So the last bit of the prep work for the Airstream is going to be on me solo. I may or may not be meeting her before we head to my cousin's house, which is where we're going to be keeping the Airstream while we're gone. But before we head out to my cousin's house, I've got a little bit of prep work to do. I'm going to bring you along for the ride. Okay, just made it back to the Airstream, and as I mentioned, there's quite a bit to do, and there's only a handful of hours left before we have to be out of here. I'm gonna walk you through some of the things that we've already done to prep the Airstream. Now, keep in mind, we're gonna have the Airstream stored at my cousin's house for about 2.5 to 3 months. So that's the length we're looking at. It's sunny Florida, so don't expect too much. There's no winter conditions coming. It is Florida, so the biggest thing to worry about is going to be like rodents and smells and things like that. So I'll walk you through some of the things that we've done. Okay, so one of the things we knew we needed to do at some point was pack, and we didn't want to leave anything here by mistake because it's going to storage before we actually leave on this coming Sunday. So we started just bringing over a lot of our clothes. So here's where all of Dash's clothes were. We've got, this is where the food was. I've got this last water bottle here that I'll get rid of before we leave. We cleared out a lot of the tech just because we just didn't want to leave it sitting in the Airstream with no power on. So normally the camera would go here, and we've got a bunch of other electronics and gadgets and stuff that we've moved over to Lauren's parents' house as well. So then you come to the fridge area here. We've already emptied out the fridge completely. There's nothing left there. I've got a little bit of work to do here on the freezer itself. As you can see, the back of it's frosted over, so I'm gonna hit that with a dryer, get that defrosted. That way we can leave it with the doors propped open because, again, it's gonna kill the power to the fridge and freezer while we're gone. This is our pantry. Again, look at that, completely gone, all gone. We've got some seasonings. We did miss this, so this is something that I'll have to pack up today. You know, when you put things in random places, this is not a random place, but when you have things kind of spread out everywhere in storage, you miss a few things along the way. So I'll have to do like a last sweep before we actually leave. Then we're gonna come to the back here, and let me get you on the bed here. And then boom, no clothes up here. We've already removed all of our clothes. Actually, I was wrong. See, we still have some stuff here that we need to bring over. But beyond that, we've got all of our socks and things like that put away. The next step for me is I'm going to dump the tanks. So I'm going to walk over here, show you here. These tire pressure sensors, alarms are so annoying, honestly. Okay, so I've got 48 in fresh water. Obviously, I don't need fresh water, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the fresh tank. Here is where I do that. It's right between the tires. Where is that thing? Okay, there it is. Right there. Perfect. So I'll do, turn this little valve here. Like so. Oh, I haven't turned it in a while. It's a little stiff there. Wow, that is really stuck. Wow. That's taking a little bit longer than I thought. Okay, I'm gonna put the camera down for a minute. Okay, so there you go. I can see the freshwater tank is draining. Nice. That's gonna take a little bit of time to drain, so in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on defrosting that freezer. I'm going to use Lauren's dryer. She's not here right now, so she probably would not be happy about me using this like really nice dryer. But then again, you know what? I gotta get it done, so there you go. Gonna use a fancy dryer. I'm sure this thing's expensive. I think all Dysons are. I don't know. This is like a, I don't even know what you call this thing. Looks like a wand. I'm sure you ladies out there know what the heck this thing is. It's a funny looking dryer, that's what it is. Okay, get that plugged in over here. Perfect. Now, I've actually never used this thing, so let me see how this works. Oh, can you hear that? That's pretty cool. Now, there's probably heat setting on here. Yes, wait. This is what it looks like when your husband's trying to operate your fancy hair dryer. They don't know what the heck it does. Okay. It's like wind setting, heat setting. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that works. That'll do the job. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I know there's going to be a little bit of water everywhere, so I've got a towel here. I'm going to take this towel and I'm going to put it down here because it's going to leak. Okay, now I'm going to hit up back of this with a dryer. Ooh-wee! Yes! Oh, this is going to take a while. Yikes. Wait. Oh, I had the air blowing the wrong way. I mean, it's really, the sides look the same, so you don't really know which side the air is blowing out of unless you really like put something in front of it. Okay, there we go. So now let's try this. Let's see what this looks like in here. This is gonna take a while. So I'm not gonna bore you with this process because it's probably gonna look like watching paint dry. So I will bring up to speed as soon as some of this ice melts. It is frozen solid in there. Making progress, but it's gonna be here for a little while. So I'll use a little bit of that YouTube magic and then we'll skip forward to where this is defrosted. Here we go. Yes, I realize this is probably bad, but I just decided to just set it down in there and just continue on with my other tasks because that's taking too long. And I know some of you will recommend like chiseling away the ice, but you can also damage your freezer by doing that. So I'm just gonna at least loosen the ice before I try to remove it. All right, now check that out. Look at that. No more ice. And I didn't have to risk damaging the freezer in the process. So it's one task done. Time to move on to the next one. One thing I forgot to mention is that one of the advantages of taking all of our clothes over to our parents' house is that we've been meaning to clean out the cabinets here for so long. We typically, every 3 months, take everything out, clean it, and then put it all back in, but we haven't had a chance lately. We've been preoccupied with, I don't know, craziness, like always. But so that's why we're basically taking all of our, just wanted to explain, that's why we're taking a lot of the stuff out of here that we normally wouldn't take and just leave in here for a couple months. The thought process is that we can then purge. We're at our parents' house, donate, give away, whatever we don't need, and then bring just back into the Airstream what we need, just essentially our essentials, right, there you go. And then we can just keep on going, because when we get back from Europe, our plan is to head out west, and we're really excited about that. And I'm sure we'll pick up a few things along the way. It's typically what you do when you're traveling around. So if we can start that journey with a little less than we have right now, that would be optimal. Okay, the fresh tank is down to 23.1 and still dropping. It does take a while. So if you have an Airstream and you're new to Airstreaming, just keep that in mind that if you have it's a big tank. It's a really, really big tank. There we go. It's a 54-gallon tank in this Classic, so it does take a while to drain. The next thing I'm going to do is, you can see right here, maybe you can or maybe you can't, but I've got 100% full propane tank, and I've got another one's a little bit low. But what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to turn the valves off at the propane tank, and then I'm really just going to completely disconnect it, because there's no reason to have the propane hooked up while we're gone. There we go. I'm undoing the latch here. Then bring it around the side here. Here we go. There's a good view. Yeah, you can see. I'm gonna close it this way. That's closed. And then I will take another step. I will disconnect that. Well, that is hard to do with one hand. Here, let me, there we go. There we go. Perfect. Now propane's disconnected, tank's closed. I'm gonna do this one. There we go. All right, so I've got both tanks closed. The next step is to do the duty. Right, me and Magnum PIG. Magnum PIG is currently in his pen right now because I didn't need him at this campground. The sewer hookups are off the ground here. I don't know if you've seen these before, but not a huge fan of those because, well, the Airstream is already low. So one of the advantages of an Airstream being low is that it tows a lot better. But one of the disadvantages is that you've got the sewer hookup right here, and it's almost, you can kind of see here, there's a sewer hookup right there. It's almost like parallel with the sewer. So, you know, ideally, and this is why probably some people enjoy the lift kits on some of these Airstreams. Ideally, you're a little bit higher, and then it would just very easily flow into the sewer. So, whereas when you're just parallel, you know, you've got that to work with. So, the next step is to hook up my sewer hoses. All right, I've spared you the dirty details of dumping the tanks. Everything has been dumped. I've taken out the garbage. Before we left a day or so ago, I forgot to empty the diaper pail, and despite it being Ubi, and Ubi does a great job of containing smells, it was a little sticky in here this morning. So got that all packaged up, garbage is cleared out. The freezer is de-iced. I've also turned the power off to the fridge. I've got a few additional things that we're gonna do once we get this Airstream over to my cousin's place. And yeah, so stay tuned. There's more to follow, more preparation, but for now, I think I'm pretty much good to go here. Gonna package up a few additional items, and then I'm gonna hitch up, and then we should be ready to go. Got about 30 minutes left before it's time to check out, and I think I'm pretty much on time. The last thing left to do is to lift the stabilizers, hitch up, and then we're good. Alrighty, all the jacks are up and stabilizers. I've done my walk around. No chocks or X chocks for main here. I always check all of my doors. Even the vent here, it's gotta be closed off right there. It's gonna be extra special because it'll help to keep some of the rodents out. And well, hopefully all of the rodents out. I've got my steps up. I always check my door here. And here's my hitch setup. I've double and triple and quadruple checked this setup. I do that every time. A little bit OCD about all of it, but you don't want to make a mistake in this area here ever. Okay. Now that everything's packed up, all that's really left to do is just, I'm gonna pull up my Garmin GPS. I'm gonna type in my cousin's address. I've got some security features I'll show you when we get there. Well, here's one. Let me show you one that I have many layers of protection for the Airstream when it's parked, especially when it's parked and there's nobody around. Apple tags. Tiny little thing. You hide it in the Airstream somewhere where no one can find it, and God forbid something happens to your Airstream and somebody drives off with it, I can track it the entire time. So this was a cheap and affordable solution to track my Airstream wherever it may go, and hopefully it doesn't go anywhere and just stays put. But that's just one of the things that I do when I leave the camper behind. Just pulled out of the campground and on the way to my cousin's house. As you can see, boop, boop, there's Airstream behind me. Lauren's gonna meet me there. She's been caught up in meetings all day, so her and Baby Dash are gonna meet me there in another vehicle because I'll be leaving the truck as well as the Airstream at my cousin's house. She is an angel for doing this for us. Finally made it to my cousin's house, and Woo! I feel like everything leading up to just dropping off the Airstream is its own little mini journey because you have so much prep involved in planning. But alas, finally here. And here's her property. She has like tons of acreage behind here, which is really, really cool. So there's plenty of space for the Airstream. Now, where exactly we'll park it, don't know yet. I'm gonna have to actually talk to her first, obviously. But yeah, finally made it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna park it here and wait for Lauren to show up. Oh, look who just got here. Yay! Ah, and all the puppies! Cousin's puppies! Well, this is Orso. Say hi, Orso. What's up, buddy? And then that in the back is Hunter, who's trailing Phoenix, who is the size of a horse. Right? Look at this. These puppies are grande. It's hard to put in perspective, but Phoenix is the bigger one, and she is really, really big. Really tall. And this is my lovely cousin, who is an absolute saint for letting us keep our stuff here.
I hear you.
So true. Who I just told on the way over here, we're keeping the truck here as well. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. Just, you can store anything you want here at all times.
Yeah, okay. Dash says French fry.
Oh,
French fry.
you want a French fry?
You want a French fry?
Your cousin Lori gave you your very first French fry last time we were here.
Yeah. Can't eat it.
He loves the bling. He got that from his mama.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. French fry.
Okay, so did you get enough video for an entire video of the day, Daniel?
I think so. Plus, I'm just tired.
Okay, that's totally fair. Well, we're gonna spend time with family, so we'll call it a wrap for today. But as you know, if you haven't already this week, make sure you Wanderlocal. Do you know it? Do you watch our videos?
Oh!
This is seriously true.
None of our family watches, just so you know. Just so you guys. You guys should give our family a hard time.
But you know it's good for the soul. See you next time.